Good morning. I'm Harley Schlanger from the LaRouche Organization with your daily video update for January 29th, 2025. Can it be that the American people will snooze through another assault on our republic? Is it acceptable that 3 or 4 members of the president's party may vote to deny the confirmation of his choices to carry out the necessary reorganization of the intelligence community and federal law enforcement? That's what's at stake in the next couple of days. For those watching, this is a call to action. As early as tomorrow, the Senate may vote on the confirmation of Tulsi Gabbard for Director of National Intelligence and Kash Patel for Director of the FBI. Will you allow 3 or 4 rhinos, Republicans in name only, to join with the Democratic neocons to deny the choices of President Trump for those positions? This is so important because we've seen corruption at the highest levels over and over and over in terms of the actions of the intelligence community, their assessments, and the deployment then of money and troops to back up their false assessments. And this has cost lives and billions of dollars. Now, there's no reason to doubt the need to clean out the rot and corruption of the old boy and now old girl network of intelligence operatives responsible for the security of our nation. Just look at the recent record of these intelligence agencies. Start with the assassinations and cover-up of the murders of President John F. Kennedy, his brother, Senator Robert F. Kennedy, civil rights leaders Malcolm X, Freddie Hampton, and Martin Luther King Jr. Look at the false flag that was used for Vietnam, the Gulf of Tonkin incident. And that was used as a justification to send more than 3.4 million American soldiers to Vietnam over the course of the next decade, with nearly 60,000 of them killed, based on lies from the intelligence community, and then lies about the success of the war, which were exposed by Daniel Ellsberg in the Pentagon Papers, murderous activity exposed by Seymour Hersh in the My Lai massacre, and so on. The same networks responsible for that imperial war were involved then, later on, in arming and training of what are called Islamic terrorists in Afghanistan, in Iraq, in Syria, in Libya. They're also responsible for the intelligence failure, and I use the term intelligence failure in quotes, of 9/11, and the lies about weapons of mass destruction in Iraq used to send, again, Americans and NATO troops into Iraq with over 1 million people killed. For what? They found no weapons. We found that we were lied to again. And in this case, the lies in the United States originated in Great Britain, the same way the lies used in Russiagate to thwart the efforts of President Trump in his first term originated with the intelligence community of the United Kingdom. And now we're spending over $200 billion, going on $300 billion for a war in Ukraine based on another lie, that Putin's special military operation in February 2022 was unprovoked. As we've pointed out, there were a series of provocations going back to the inclusion of Ukraine, the attempt to include Ukraine and Georgia in NATO, the Maidan coup in 2014 that brought the present regime into power in Ukraine, the lying of the Minsk Accords, that is, there were never an intent to end the war, the sabotage of the peace treaty that was worked out between Zelensky and Putin in March and April of 2022, and the continued destruction, including the destruction of a whole generation of young Ukrainians, for the sake of weakening Russia, because the CIA and other analysts determined that Russia was an enemy and had to be weakened. That's what we're up against. That's the intelligence community of the United States, which we've identified in our dossier Liars Bureau. Now, you should not be surprised to learn that the same neocon, Dick Cheney, who's allying with Democratic war hawks Hillary Clinton and AOC to try to defeat Gabbard and Patel, that Cheney was the point man in 1975 in the attempt to sabotage the last serious effort to expose and clean out the intelligence community, the Church Committee, 50 years ago. Some people ask me why that book, Children of Satan, is over my shoulder. That's a book from the LaRouche movement that exposed the role of Cheney and his team in the run-up to the Gulf War. And it goes into detail of the networks that are involved in that, which then we updated with the Liars Bureau report, which will be a link to which will be attached at the bottom of the description section. This is an existential question for the United States. Will we allow this network to continue to run these operations which threaten our security, our financial security, and the lives of Americans and others around the world? Will you allow that to happen without standing up and taking action? Take the time to read the Liars Bureau dossier. It's a concise indictment of the people who are attacking Gabbard and Patel today, who carried out unbelievable actions of censorship, of lies, of assassination, of covert operations, color revolutions over the last 50 years. And now they're trying to make sure that you don't find out about it by denying President Trump of his choices to investigate and clean out these intelligence networks. Once you've read that report, then you have to make the decision to act. Circulate the dossier. Talk to your friends and neighbors. We've had reports of people with their church network of 100, 200 people making calls to senators' offices. Don't assume that the senators aren't going to know if people are calling. They will know, and especially if you organize others to join you in this. So let's not snooze through this crisis. In this decisive week, it's a time for action, a time for people who have made the decision that we need to have a new direction, a new paradigm, and to work with us to make sure we have a new security and development architecture which can guarantee peace, not through force of arms, but through the physical production of goods, through infrastructure, through cooperation for mutual benefit among sovereign nation states, with the United States as a leader in that, as opposed to the cause of the impoverishment, the destruction, and the wars that are making refugees of people of all the countries that are attacked. Take action. Join us and use the links in the description section to become a part of this mobilization to preserve and defend our republic.